Hey, welcome to Sportsman's Adventures, and this week I'm going to teach you how to fish South Florida for peacock and the elusive largemouth bass. Now, in 1984, the FWC introduced the peacocks into the system because a lot of the fish that had been let out of people's tanks were taking over the bass habitat and really hurting the population of the largemouth bass. The largemouth bass and the peacocks can all seem to live together and get along real well. And as I'm putting in my boat, sure enough, look what happens. I get interrupted by about a 6-pound peacock sitting right here out to the boat ramp. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw this little shiner to him, and we're going to catch him. And I'm going to show you how we're going to do it. The peacock candy. Here he is, right here. Ooh! See how easy that is? I hadn't even got the boat in yet. We got a 4-pounder on. Now, the one thing that's really cool about these peacocks is, compared to a largemouth, they really, really pull, really fight. And I just love catching people's personal pets. That's what's really cool. You come to these lakes or you come to these canal systems, and sure enough, this is what you can expect to catch. Now, as you can tell, it's already late in the day. And the reason why is because the peacocks come from the Amazon, where it's nice and hot. The one thing that you need to understand is they bite most of the time in the middle of the day. So you can come to these lakes early in the morning, catch your largemouth early in the morning, and then catch the peacocks. And we usually fish for the peacocks between 10 and 2 o'clock. That's when they're the most active. Look at how beautiful that fish is. The other thing that's really great about this fish is how good it is to eat. And that's another reason why the FWC introduced them. Is because it takes some of the pressure off of the largemouth bass and people wanting to eat them. The thing that's really neat about this is you can do this fishing from the bank or even out of a boat. In this particular case, I'm going to put my Maverick in and we're going to go catch a bunch of these because I want to fish out in the middle and really see what's out there, how big they can potentially be in 20 feet of water.
Today's Sportsman's Adventures takes us to the peacock bass fishing capital of the world. No, it's not South America's Amazon River. Believe it or not, it's right here in South Florida. Neighborhood lakes and canals are where these fish call home, and that's where Captain Rick puts on his peacock catching clinic.
Look at the size of that daddy. Uh-oh, got a bite. Now, one of the things you need to know about this fishing, whether you're catching these peacocks or catching these largemouths, we actually had a show scheduled to fish in Stewart today. And because it's blowing northeast 15 to 20, we chose not to try to make a show on the beach where the fish are, you know, big giant waves smashing and crashing everywhere. So what we decided to do is show you guys how this peacock fishing happens down here in South Florida. It's a great thing whenever you're scheduled to go do something to fall back on. And that's the beauty of it. You don't have to get beat up. Simply go put your boat in or fish just from the bank. And you can catch these. There he is. Look at how healthy this fish is when I grab him here. Wow. Look at how healthy he is, just thick and fat. This is a male. He's starting to get that protruding. They get a big bump when they go and start protecting beds and whatnot on the top of their head. And he'll get even more brilliant as far as the color goes. Pretty neat. Oh, now you notice with that circle hook, all you got to do is reel. You don't need to set the hook. The fish is eating it. The idea is that hook's going to slide into the corner of that fish's mouth, we hope. Look at him jumping there. Oh, you are the man. All 2 pounds of you. Look at you. Come on, give it to me one more time. That's it. Now let me tell you a little bit about the tackle that I'm using. The one thing, you don't have to have a big heavy rod. These fish, light line is all you really need. 8 pound, 6 pound, even 4 pound for those guys that really like to fish light tackle. And the thing that I really do is we're using a number 2, not a 2-0, a number 2 circle hook. All right, that's all you need. And I've used a little split shot, and whatever size, that's really all you gotta, whatever you decide, your personal preference. I buy the same size split shot that I use quite often for bone fishing so that I can use it when I'm not peacock bass fishing, you know. But the tackle that I'm using is a 7-foot light action spinning rod. I got a Shimano 4000 Spiros on here, and it's got 8-pound Rapala line, and it's mono. I'm using mono because the water in these canals and in these lakes are very, very clear, and I think that the fish see it. Now, there is no leader. It's not like a snook or a tarpon. I don't have to tie a leader onto this fish. Now, he did swallow it. I didn't feel the bite. So what I'm going to do is, instead of hurting the fish, I'm simply just going to come in here with my YAMAHA pliers and cut that hook off. Let the fish have the hook, and in a few days, the acid that this fish has in the system will rust out that hook. Now, no harm done to the fish itself. Let him go, get him back in the water as quickly as possible, because when he's out of the water, understand that he's holding his breath like we would be if we were in the water. Oh. Didn't take long. Now understand that here in South Florida, there's different types of peacock bass. And actually, the peacock is not a peacock. It is actually a cichlid. So it's not a bass. I mean, it is a peacock, but it's not a bass. It's in the cichlid family. And the thing that's really neat about it is the two different types that there are is the butterfly and the speckled. The butterflies really took on real well. But for whatever reason, the speckled didn't do very well. They're not as common. I don't know if we had some cold weather or whatever happened to them. I'm not quite sure. But the point is that they definitely is two different kinds here. And maybe, I'm not, you know, an expert on these guys. This could be a speckled right here. I don't know if he is or not. Look at how he's more in the spawning mode. Look at the knot on the top of his head. Definitely, as they would say down in South America, el macho. He's definitely a male. Isn't that beautiful how he gets that big old bump in his head? It's a good thing I don't get that kind of bump on my head when I'm spawning. I'd have a big old knot head. Look at how beautiful he is. See, he doesn't have the bars like the last one. And again, I'm no expert, so the bottom line is I'm just observing what I see. Look at that beautiful yellow eye he has there. What a great, great fish. I'm so lucky to live here in South Florida that I can use this to fall back on this fish. Oh! Let's see what we got here. This fish ate the shiner and swam out from underneath the dock there.
Sportsman's Adventures is brought to you by Florida, the fishing capital of the world. Yamaha, reliability starts here. Rapala, your best shot at a world record. Williamson Lures, when it's all on the line, make sure Williamson is on yours. Maverick, fish the legend. Minn Kota, anywhere, anytime. Humminbird, clearly, simply better.
Yamaha redefines offshore power with the world's first V8 5.3-liter four-stroke outboard. Born and bred for the open sea, it's an all-new class of outboard power. Its unparalleled 5.3-liter displacement delivers massive power and thrust, proving it's not just about the horses, it's how you turn them loose. The F350 V8 four-stroke from Yamaha, redefining your expectations again.
takes a little more to make it out here. It's about guts, standing up to the elements, and quietly doing the job when others have long gone home. It takes Riptide, the toughest, most corrosion-resistant trolling motor ever built. When your reputation's on the line, hang it on Riptide, only from Minn Kota.
I've been fishing all my life and seen some pretty cool things on the water. I've seen a 180-pound tarpon jump in my boat. I've seen giant snook slam live bait, and I've also seen super shallow redfish I can easily pull to. I've seen a lot, and a lot has changed except my boat builder, Maverick Boat Company. Make no mistake about it, Maverick makes the best technical poling skiffs, high-speed backcountry skiffs, and bay boats in the world.
Hughes, Maverick, or Pathfinder, #1 for a reason. Go fishing and make Florida a better place to go fishing. When you buy this great-looking license plate, you support the programs that make Florida the fishing capital of the world. Programs like fish stocking, lake restoration, and research. You can be part of the great work being done around the state. Just ask for the Go Fishing Florida license plate at your county tag office. Remember, when it's time to renew your tag, it's time to go fishing.
Wow! Welcome back to Sportsman's Adventures. Look at him, peacock bass fishing. Right here in the canals and lakes of South Florida. The reason why we're here is because it's blowing like a coot. And when it's blowing, Daddy don't want to be going. So what we do is we come into a friend of mine's lake, and sure enough, guess what? We're catching peacocks, and we're having a good time doing it. And I gotta tell you, this is what we live in South Florida for. It's in the month of March, and it's nice. I'm wearing a long sleeve t-shirt. It's blowing about 20 offshore out of the northeast, and certainly that wouldn't be a lot of fun, even in that 33-foot contender that I have. The bottom line is that we're down here having a good time catching these big, beautiful butterfly peacocks. Now, unfortunately, I let this fish eat the bait a little bit too long, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the hook off, saving the fish, and spending a little more money on getting a new hook. Whoop-de-doo. As precious as that fish is, we're going to make sure that we take care of the resource. There you go, buddy. I'll go back over here. Now, what I'm looking for, so that you know, is I'm looking for structure. In this particular lake, I'm looking for where it drops off. I'm maybe looking for a big rock or some piece of debris that's blown off in one of the past hurricanes that we've had here in South Florida in the last few years. The other thing, if you're fishing canals, the other thing that you want to look for is whenever the canal bank comes to a point, that's a place where a peacock's going to hide. Another thing is those big culverts that go under the roads. They love being around those culverts. I think in the month of January, February, those roads put off heat, and the peacock are going to graduate or move over to where that heat is. They like it warm. You got to remember, this fish came from South America. And the bottom line is he's used to being it hot and tropical. So that's one of the reasons why the bite is usually best between 10 and 2 o'clock in the day, specifically in January and February. Understand that you can fish for these fish all year long. The best months are April through October. Oh, let's see what we got here. This fish ate the shiner and swam out from underneath the dock there. Oh, look at this largemouth. This is great. That's the great thing about all these South Dade lakes and canals. They are full of different types of bass, peacock and largemouth. You know, catching this largemouth reminds me about the new bass center that's between Orlando and Tampa. And what a great place that is in order to get educated about bass and the largemouth bass that we have here throughout the state and all of the southern states, throughout of all the United States. There's a perfect specimen of what the largemouth black bass looks like. Cool. Let him go. Grew up to be a big 10-pounder. Cool. Oh, We went out a little deeper. As you can see, you got a drop off here, and we noticed that I'm not seeing a lot of fish on the edge. The fish that I am seeing are smaller. So we actually have thrown out on the deeper edge and let the shiner all the way down to the bottom, and it seems like the fish are getting a little larger. Wow. Look at that blue tail. Just like that should be. That circle hook right in the roof of the mouth on the outer edge. Oh my goodness. Look at that peacock.
This Conservation Minute is brought to you by the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission.
Hey, I'm Captain Rick Murphy, and if you're like me, you're wild about Florida's wildlife. Now you can show your wild side by purchasing one of several specialty tags available for your car or boat trailer. When you buy one of these specialty tags, you'll be showing your appreciation and respect for the natural side of Florida. You'll also be supporting the effort of wildlife groups who care just like you and I do. The FWC now offers 5 different specialty plates. The Conservation Wildlife plates with the Black Bear logo, the Go Fishing plate with a largemouth bass, the Protect the Panther plate, helping save the sea turtle survival plate, and Save the Manatee plate. The FWC specialty plates make great gifts, and you can buy a specialty gift certificate for one of these tags at any Florida State Motor Vehicle or your local tax collector's office.
Contender boats. Take it to the limit. Wherever you find fishing tournament winners, you'll find Contender boat owners. First to the fishing grounds, first to the winner's circle. When you look for strength, versatility, and ocean ability, you find Contender boats. Hand-built, one by one, each and every one. Contender Boats is proud to introduce its new 23 Tournament Edition, the latest in true mid-sized offshore fishing rigs. Contender is committed to providing outstanding quality and performance. Nothing else delivers. Expect the most. Contender Boats.
Patented in 2000, perfected over years of testing and real-world punishment, the Power Pole is the ultimate shallow water boat positioning tool. Swift. Power Pole deploys in seconds from anywhere in your boat. Virtually silent, Power Pole won't spook wary fish. Secure in strong currents or gusting winds in up to 8 feet of water. Engineered to take it with a lifetime unconditional replacement guarantee on the spike. Power Pole, swift, silent, secure. Visit powerpole.com to find a dealer near you.
Every second on the water is critical. So to get to the fish fast, I rely on Humminbird. Humminbird's exclusive side imaging sonar shows me picture-like images of bait fish, schools, channel drop-offs, wrecks, and other structures. Navigation is easy and accurate with Humminbird's advanced 16-channel GPS and optional Navionics Platinum charts. Finding fish or finding my way, Humminbird is simply, clearly better.
Yamaha redefines offshore power with the world's first V8 5.3-liter 4-stroke outboard. Born and bred for the open sea, it's an all-new class of outboard power. Its unparalleled 5.3-liter displacement delivers massive power and thrust, proving it's not just about the horses, it's how you turn them loose. The F350 V8 4-stroke from Yamaha, redefining your expectations again.
Come on, please. Oh yeah, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. For your struggle, He will set you free.
Since I've retired, we get to fish more than ever. And although I've reached the age where I'm exempt from having to buy a fishing license, I buy one anyway just because it's a way to give something back. And all the money goes directly to managing our fish and wildlife resources through the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. It's a good thing to do. And who knows, it might even help my grandson here catch more fish. For more information, go to myfwc.com.
Oh, welcome back to Sportsman's Adventures. And as you can see, I'm here in South Dade, and I'm catching peacock and largemouth bass. The thing that's so really cool about this is that you can catch sometimes 20 to 30 of these in a day. Now, I'm using live shiners and a 7-foot spinning rod, and I got to tell you, light tackle is the way to go. They're very aggressive, and you can catch a mixed bag of peacocks. The two different types of peacocks, the speckled and the butterfly, have been put into these canal systems as well as these recreational lakes. The thing that's really neat is that there's fish in all of these places in South Dade. So you can go straight from work on your afternoon, on your way home, take your rod with you, stop at the local bait and tackle store, buy a few shiners, or maybe even a few plugs, and you'll be able to catch a couple of these before you go home. It's a great way to take the edge off and a great way to end the day. At least I sure certainly enjoy it. Let me put this little fish back and see if I can't catch a bigger one. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. This feels like a really good one. I saw that on Roland Show one time. That's what he said about all of them. Now, you know, the thing that's so great about these fishing is they're so very, very aggressive. And that's the way you have to fish for them. Make sure that if you see a fish laying, that you throw your bait or your lure, something really close to them. Now, understand that these peacocks are in places like the Dominican Republic, Brazil, Florida. One of the things that I didn't know, they actually have them in Hawaii. So the United States have them in two different places, Florida and all the way at the other side of the United States, Hawaii. And I think that's really cool. They like warm places. They don't do well. They won't survive in a place like Alabama or in Jimmy Houston's hometown in Oklahoma. It just simply gets too cold for them. But look at the beauty and the colors. You can't make a freshwater fish look any better than that. And you know, when they're the right size, within the slot size, you can take these home and eat them as well. Make sure you have a freshwater fishing license so you can harvest them. The blues, the knot on his head, this is a male, not quite in the fulling spawning mode yet, but the orange throat and the dot on the tail is significant to what's going on when you're catching fish. If you're wondering which one it is, that's what you look for. Oh, and it didn't take long. Uh-oh. This guy is towing me offshore. Oh my goodness. Look at that peacock. The one thing that I think you could really appreciate about these fish is they really, really fight. Come on up and jump. Come on. Come on. Look at the fight. Now, the thing that you got to remember is, whether you want to do this with your kids, the thing, I tell you, during the daylight savings time of year, you can take your rod in your car and on your way home, potentially stop and get an hour or 2 hours of fishing in. That's the beauty of fishing and living here in South Florida. Take your rod with you on your way home from work, 5 o'clock or so during daylight savings time, which kicks in March. You can get a couple hours of fishing in. That's what's so great. Is it doesn't always have to be about setting up a full-blown trip. A lot of times we come out and fish for just a few hours. I'll bring Ridge and Colin, and we'll fish for just a few hours. Look at the size of that daddy. Now, that's what I'm talking about. And somebody else has already been here too. Look, here's my hook right here, and here's this fish. Is it either broke somebody off or he has a hook in the other side of his jaw. So I'm going to do this fish a favor and remove both of those. Look at that. Somebody using even a smaller hook than I was. Probably wasn't using heavy enough line, and you end up getting broke off. Okay, there we go. We'll let this one go. There he goes. Hey, thanks for tuning in and making this a great sportsman's adventure, sharing a little bit of South Florida knowledge, what we do on windy days when it's too windy and I don't want to go when it's too rough offshore. You can come right here in some of the backyards of these people if you know somebody who lives on a lake, or even if it's just on one of the canal systems. These canal systems are everywhere, and if you want to know more information about it, go into FWC's website and they'll give you some ideas of where you can start, what you can use for bait, the typical size, and a lot of the information that we shared here with you in this week's Sportsman's Adventure. Thanks again. And I think I got another bite. Oh, there he is.
Check out the Sportsman's Adventures website at www.sportsmansadventures.com. Coming up next week on Sportsman's Adventures with Captain Rick Murphy.
Ho, 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 ho. Woo! Man. That's a trout right there. Come back here with me, Hollywood. Woo! Get it? I'll get you some of that. That trout was pulling like a snooks.
Sportsman's Adventures was brought to you by Contender Boats. Fish hard. Hook and Tackle Sportswear, America's largest authentic sport fishing company. Don't leave shore without it. Float-on trailers. There's only one real float-on. Power pole. Swift, silent, secure. Costa Del Mar. See what's out there. Screen Print Plus. When image matters.